never forget these heroic polygons. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 heroic sacrifices in video games.
You fool! What have you done?
The standards to get into this list are pretty high, so to get on, we're sticking with one death per franchise. And not only does the character have to die, they have to stay dead in the same game, although this rule won't apply if they're revived in any spin-offs or sequels. Plus, this should go without saying, but just so you can't say we didn't warn you, spoiler alert.
Maria, this is what you wanted, right? This is my promise I made to you.
Number 10, James, Fallout 3. We begin our list with the father of the lone wanderer, who died in his efforts to bring life to Project Purity and deliver pure drinking water to the irradiated ruins of Washington, D.C. When the Enclave arrive at the project site, James makes a desperate sacrifice by flooding the chamber with radiation.
Run. Run!
Ironically, the very place that he died would be the same place as his child. Unless, of course, you were selfish and sent your partner in. Number 9, Noble 6, Halo Reach. While all of Noble Squad end up as heroic sacrifices, none can compare to Noble 6's final moments. In order to ensure that Cortana and the Pillar of Autumn are able to get off-world, 6 stays behind to fend off a Covenant cruiser, allowing for the Autumn to take off. It is then that we witness 6's final moments as his visor begins to break from the relentless onslaught of Covenant soldiers.
Cortana, all I need to know is, did we lose them?
I think we both know the answer to that.
Number 8, Booker DeWitt, Bioshock Infinite. Okay, so this one's a bit confusing because it involves multiple dimensions and interconnected timelines, but the skinny is this.
Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt.
The player, Booker DeWitt, is not only Elizabeth's father, but is also the game's main villain, Comstock, only from another dimension. So in order to prevent the evil that his alternate self will bring upon the world, he travels back to the point in his life where the dimensions diverge and allows Elizabeth to drown him. So, depending on how you interpret that, it could mean that she never existed at all. Stick around after the credits if you want to be so confused that you puke. Number 7, Dominic Santiago, Gears of War 3. Already troubled by being in the hometown of his deceased wife, it was only fitting that Dom would perish in the town of Mercy. After a massive Locust force overwhelms Marcus's squad, Dom makes a valiant sacrifice by ramming a fuel tanker right into the heart of the swarm.
Never thought it would end like this, huh? Huh, Maria? Dom! No!
He does, however, leave behind one final legacy.
Feel that? That's from Dom. And everyone else you killed, you bitch.
Number 6, Zero, Mega Man Zero 4. His efforts in Mega Man X may be his most popular, but instead, we're giving the nod to his act that had the most impact in Zero 4. In order to save the last human colony from a falling satellite, Zero stays on board as it descends into the atmosphere, causing it to separate and destroy itself. His sacrifice is noteworthy as it puts an end to the lengthy war between the humans and androids known as Reploids. Number 5, Mordin Solus, Mass Effect 3. Shepard would have made this list had it not been for the backlash over the ending. So instead, Mordin takes the slot for his sacrifice in saving the Krogan race from the Genophage, and for singing Gilbert and Sullivan in his final moments. Mind you, it is possible to save Mordin, but only at the loss of Rex and Eve.
I'm sorry.
I'm not. Had to be me.
But for merely having the option to save an entire race, he gets the nod here.
Genophage cured. Krogan free. New beginning. For all of us.
Number 4. John Marston, Red Dead Redemption. In one of the best video game endings of the 7th generation, the Marston family farm is ambushed by the very men that John had been working for, to cover up their involvement with him.
I love you.
I love you.
Now go! Get!
In order to ensure that his wife and son get away safely, John Marston goes down in a blaze of glory.
Oh, bury me not on the lone prairie where the coyotes wail.
Number 3. Titus, Final Fantasy X. This is another confusing one, so bear with us. Giant whale monster has been terrorizing the world. Titus suddenly appears in the world. Titus learns that to beat giant whale monster, Yuna must sacrifice herself.
Uni will die, you know?
And one of her party.
Have you chosen the one to become your faith?
She doesn't do that.
No one.
Titus learns he's part of a dream, and if giant whale monster dies, he'll vanish.
You're hiding something.
So he says screw it.
I know it's selfish. But this is my story.
Giant whale monster dies, and Titus vanishes as Yuna professes her love for him.
I love you.
Number 2. The boss, Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater. Here's a character that not only sacrificed her life, but also her historical reputation.
I gave up my body and my child for my country.
To the world, she had betrayed the United States, was killed in action by Naked Snake, and buried in an unmarked grave, deemed a traitor. But in reality, she did so to get the philosopher's legacy back to the US and prevented World War III, with only a tragic few knowing her true story.
She was a true patriot.
Before we get to number 1, let's pay tribute to a few honorable mentions who also gave their lives in the digital realm. Number 1, the baby Metroid, Super Metroid. Taking the top spot on our list is the most infamous sacrifice in video game history. The very Metroid whose birth you witnessed and have to rescue ends up rescuing you from Mother Brain, after crippling her with a powerful beam at the cost of its own life. This moment requires no dialogue or sappy music to capture the emotional impact. To this day, it's still a prime example of video games as a form of art. Agree with our list? Which moment of heroism had you all misty-eyed? For more memorable top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Are we ready to finish what he started? Then at last, the Rebel Alliance is born.